TetraLogical.
Browsing on the Amazon Fire TV. In this video, we'll give a quick rundown of some of the accessibility features of the Amazon Fire TV, and then see how these features are used when browsing the web on this platform. So let's get started. We're going to go to our settings. First one we're going to look at, if we go to remotes and Bluetooth devices, let's put our pin in. Right, in this screen you can do things like adding additional Fire TV remotes, adding game controllers, but for our intents and purposes, other Bluetooth devices, which includes things like speakers, headphones, remotes, keyboards and mice. So let's see if we can add a Bluetooth keyboard. So add Bluetooth devices. I will turn on the keyboard and set it to connection. And hopefully, there we go. It's found a Bluetooth keyboard. Pairing the device. Bluetooth keyboard is now connected. Now with a paired Bluetooth keyboard, I can use it for basic controls. Here I'm using the cursor keys. I can go up and down. It's escape to go back. And I'm back on the main interface. And again, I can use cursor keys for the spatial navigation. And to activate things, I can use the spacebar. Putting the keyboard aside now, I'm going to go back to the remote. So now we're in the accessibility section, and we've got a few interesting things like subtitle, Alexa subtitles, but I want to have a look at VoiceView, the built-in screen reader for Fire TV. And let's turn VoiceView on. It will start talking at me for quite a bit, so the next voice you'll hear is VoiceView's.
VoiceView ready. VoiceView screen reader. VoiceView on. 1 of 9. Use up and down to move between items. Provide spoken feedback as you navigate items on the screen.
Okay, so very similar to many other screen readers you may have used before. We're navigating still with the spatial navigation, in this case on the remote again, but we could also be using the keyboard that we paired before. And as we're moving through the screen, you see there is a visual focus indicator, and it will basically announce the accessible name of controls as we're moving through it, give hints where available, etc. There are settings. I can change the reading speed, verbosity, speech volume, sound volume, key echo, all the good stuff. There is also a tutorial, and we're just going to go through that one.
Reading speed. Verbosity. Speech volume. 90% of device volume. 4. Sounds volume. 40% of device volume. Key echo. Characters. Punctuation level. Sum. VoiceView tutorial. 8 of 9. Learn how. VoiceView tutorial. Are you new to VoiceView on Fire TV Stick HD? Press the play/pause button on your remote to continue the tutorial. The play/pause button is the middle button in the bottom row of 3 small buttons. To exit the tutorial, press the fast forward button. The fast forward button is the right button in the bottom row of 3 small buttons. Locating buttons on your remote. The small button in the top corner of your remote is the power button. The small button just below in the center is the microphone button. You can press and hold the microphone button to search by voice or make an Alexa request. Below this, the large round button inside a ring is the select button. The ring around the select button is the navigation ring and is used to navigate up, down, left and right. The top row of 3 small buttons, from left to right, includes the back, home and menu buttons. The second row of 3 small buttons, from left to right, includes the rewind, play/pause and fast forward buttons. The lower portion of the remote includes buttons for volume, apps and other features. After finishing this tutorial, you can hear the names and descriptions of buttons on your remote at any time by holding down play/pause and pressing select. To continue, press select or press any other key to hear this description again. Tips. Use up and down to move between tips. When done, press and hold select to exit the tutorial. 1 of 12. Enable or disable voice view by holding the back and menu buttons for 2 seconds. 2 of 12. Interrupt voice view speech with a press and hold of the play/pause button. 3 of 12. Adjust voice view speech rate and volume by holding down the play/pause button and pressing up, down, left or right. 4 of 12. To learn the names and descriptions of buttons on your remote, hold down play/pause and press select. Play/pause is the middle button in the bottom row of 3 small buttons. Select is the center button inside the large ring. 5 of 12. Repeat content and usage hints by pressing the menu button. 6 of 12. To access standard menu functions, press the menu button twice quickly. 7 of 12. To enter or exit review mode, hold the menu button for 2 seconds. In review mode, navigate with the left and right buttons, and adjust granularity with the up and down buttons. 8 of 12. To adjust any voice view setting, go to Settings, then Accessibility and then Voice View. 9 of 12. If your remote has a voice button at the top, you can search or launch apps by speaking whilst holding the voice button. 10 of 12. To enable audio description by default, go to Settings, then Accessibility and then Audio Description. 11 of 12. To exit the tutorial, press and hold select. Use up and down to move between tips. 12 of 12. VoiceView screen reader, VoiceView tutorial. 8 of 9. Use up and down to move between items. Learn how to use the VoiceView screen reader.
Okay, so we're going to turn that back off.
Punctuate, key echo, sounds, speech volume, verbosity, reading speed. Voice view on. Voice view. The action you are attempting will result in voice view being turned off. Turn off button. Voice view exiting.
And there we go. Next up, let's go back one level. We have the text banner feature, which displays an on-screen text box to see what basically what the name or the description of the currently focused item is. Let's turn that on. We get a little explanation tutorial with all the shortcut keys that you can use. Let's keep that on. And as you can see now at the bottom of the screen, we have the text banner. As I move through, in this case, this particular menu, we see that it shows the accessible name for the focused control and any hint text that's been associated with that particular control. There's a tutorial. We can also change things like font size and color. Change the background color, change the opacity, all of those things. Let's turn that one back off. And the last feature I want to have a quick look at is the built-in screen magnifier. Let's turn that on. Again, we get a little tutorial screen with all the special key sequences you can use on your remote control, the key combinations, how to actually zoom in, how to zoom out, how to pan explicitly. So let's OK that one. So now we are navigating with the screen magnifier on. You see in the top right, it gives you an indication of how far you're actually zoomed in, which part of the screen you're looking at. If I now use menu button and then the directional keys on the remote, I can move around. I can zoom in with menu and then the fast forward. So again, I can then use menu and the directional keys to move around. Now it should work if I just do normal navigation, just using the spatial navigation keys. The magnifier will try, as most screen magnifiers do, to keep the currently focused item in view. So it will move the actual viewport of the magnifier to follow whichever element currently has focus. So now that we've covered some of the Amazon Fire TV's accessibility features, let's see them in action when browsing web content. We'll start up the Amazon Silk web browser. Now, by default, if I'm using the remote control, if I use the directional keys, you will see that I'm moving the on-screen cursor, the equivalent to a mouse pointer. If I go further down on the page, it starts scrolling. You can go all the way back to the top. Once I'm in the top bar, I can use the control to move between the address bar, refresh, menu, private browsing, request desktop sites, and add bookmark. And if I move back down, I'm back to using the on-screen cursor. If we have a paired Bluetooth keyboard, we can also use the cursor keys on the keyboard itself to move the cursor. So here I'm using cursor up, down, left, right, and you'll see it does the same as with the standard Fire remote. However, I can also, similar to what I can do on desktop, use Tab and Shift Tab to move from one focusable item to the other. So in that sense, it's very similar to the experience you would already know from desktop navigation. And again, using Enter or Space to activate things. Now, let's see how it works in combination with the accessibility features we saw earlier. So first of all, let's see if we can turn on the VoiceView screen reader.
VoiceView ready. Address bar TetraLogical.com. Select to edit.
So now we've started up VoiceView and we can navigate through the web page in Amazon Silk using screen reader access effectively.
Menu button. Enter private. Request desktop. Add bookmark button. Connection is secure button. TetraLogical. Link visited. Skip to content. Link. TetraLogical. About. Service. Blog. Link. Services. About. Accessibility specialists.
So I can use the up and down cursor keys to change granularity, which kind of element I'm trying to read through. So I can go, for instance, just heading by heading.
List item. List. Form control. Link. Heading.
And now if I'm using left and right, it will jump from one heading to the next.
Website. Main. About TetraLogical. Heading 1. Section. Navigation. Our principles. Heading 2.
It will also include some containers, some landmarks. So not quite heading-based navigation, but close enough.
We like to listen. Heading 2. Footer. We like to listen. Our principles. Section. About TetraLogical. Main.
By default, when navigating through web content in Silk, VoiceView will be in review mode. I can turn review mode off.
Review mode off.
And now I can use
Our team. Link. 1 of 3. Our impact. Link. 2 of 3.
Tab and Shift Tab. I can go from one link to the other, from one focusable element to the other, and VoiceView will track that as well.
Our UX network. Link. 3 of hello at tetralogical.com. Button.
So we see here we're jumping between links, between buttons, but that only seems to work when you're not in review mode. Let's turn VoiceView back off.
VoiceView exiting.
I don't want to exit Silk. So let's stay here. So now we're back to just navigating without VoiceView. Next up, let's turn Text Banner on. And we get the Text Banner tutorial explaining the keyboard shortcuts. Let's OK that. So the experience with Text Banner when using the on-screen cursor, it tries to show in the text banner whatever text content is currently underneath the cursor itself. So here we see if I move it over this heading, we like to listen, it will find that and show it in the text banner. If I go to the sentence straight after it, it will show that sentence in the text banner as well. If it's a large paragraph, it will start showing the beginning of it, and I can then use the fast forward and rewind keys to show more of that content. If I'm navigating with the keyboard, the experience is similar. It will move, if I'm using tab and shift tab in this case, whatever I'm currently focused on, it will show the text content of that particular element that I'm focused on in the text banner window at the bottom of the screen. And lastly, let's turn on screen magnification. Again, we get a dialog showing us the keyboard shortcuts. Let's just OK that. And yes, we're staying in Silk. Now, by default, again, we're navigating here with the cursor keys and we're moving the on-screen cursor. The screen magnifier tries as much as it can to keep the cursor in view. However, its implementation is a little bit janky. There are situations where it's possible to end up with the cursor being completely outside of the magnified view. Like in this case, you have to explicitly move the magnified view. You need to pan around the screen to try and find out where your cursor actually is. There it is. Not helped by the fact that the cursor disappears after a while if you don't move it. However, the implementation is a lot smoother if we're actually navigating with a keyboard. So if I'm using tab and shift tab, we see that I'm moving my focus between the various focusable elements on the page, and the screen magnifier does actually do a reasonably good job trying to keep the currently focused item in view in the magnified view itself, without the need to manually pan around the page to try and find out where I'm currently focused. And there we have it. A short overview of how to browse web content, specifically in Amazon Silk, using the accessibility features of the Amazon Fire TV.
TetraLogical